Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
Last night I cut the light off in my bedroom, hit the switch, was in the bed before the room was dark.
This is combat culture.
Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
This is combat culture. Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
I'm so mean I make medicine sick. That's bad.
This is combat culture.
Hello, good morning everyone, and welcome to the new and improved Combat Culture Africa. On the desk today is your anchor, Oche, Young Jollof, Charles Edache, now with an MMA record of 1 win, 0 loss, and 0 draws.
By guillotine.
By guillotine choke in the second round. Yeah.
Good for you, man.
And right across from me is my brother, Mayo Icebox Okunu,
aka the Minister of Fitness.
Good
to be back, y'all. Good to be back.
Feels fucking amazing. And then right beside him we have Chidi B-Boy the Mill Nwankwo,
Resident Ninja.
Thanks.
Resident Ninja.
Miami Vice.
This is my retirement look.
And he's the youngest resident.
Stop giving him my title.
I beg to differ.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Guys,
I'm the youngest.
both of you.
Stealing my
Both of
shit.
you.
I'm
Actually.
24 years old,
I'm
man.
23.
I hope the camera can catch your face so that you can know how ridiculous you sound at 24 years old.
Like footballer, man.
And then right beside me is my brother in blood and in sweat and tears, Skelly, innocent Edache. I forgot my brother's name.
Wow. What up? Yeah. R.I.P. to DMX.
Yeah, man. One love to DMX, man.
All right, guys. So hopping right into it because the new format of the show is really compact. We need to get right into our topic of the day. The title for today's episode is African Dominance in MMA.
Yeah.
And Skelly is going to kick it right off for us by explaining the different circumstances that are in play that have made African fighters the force that they are right now. So yeah, Skelly, right over to you.
In thinking about how to approach this, naturally I've ended up in a sort of counterintuitive place because everybody's talking about African fighters are rising, African fighter. Right? We have 3 belts. We almost had 4. We were a 5-minute decision away from a 4th belt in African hands. But I don't think there's anything particularly unique about the African success story in the UFC in particular right now. And the reason why I say so is every region of the world has produced and is producing top-level fighters. Another reason why I don't particularly ascribe anything to the Africanness of these fighters is the 3 champions we have right now are really, really different people with different stories. You have one guy who literally went through hell to pursue his dream, started pursuing it late, and is now heavyweight champion in Ngannou. Yep. You have, on the other end of the spectrum, Israel Adesanya, from very nice middle to upper middle class family background, stable family situation, wonderful relationship with his parents. I don't want to say he's had it easy, but...
Because he was bullied, I think.
Yeah, he was bullied, but a stable life, and he's world champion, and almost became a champ. And then you have Kamaru, who's somewhere in between. Dad went to prison, migrated to the US, was bullied as a kid as well. The reason why I bring this up is that what we just have is a collection of really, really special individuals. I don't necessarily think that there's anything about their experience that makes me think Africa. I'm proud of them. They're 3 of my favorite fighters, but I just don't. And when I'm sorry, I'm going on a bit long, but I just like to contrast that with where I think that there's actually something in the water is Dagestan. But and I just don't see that because there's no unique experience of these African fighters, And then you could talk about like some controversial racial theories about black people from the Western.
Like that. But what I wanted to bring up was I saw it somewhere online where they said it's the first time we've had this many champions from one continent
at the same time. Fair.
Because even like what I was thinking, just real quick, China, for instance, massive population. They've had fighters in the UFC for a while, and they only have Zhang Weili.
Yes.
Yeah, and like it's not, and the UFC
have that
opened up in China, I think last year, right? That was in 2020, I believe, or 2019. Yeah. So I'm trying to draw because why so many in such a short period of time? even though I agree with him, I think the
About Dagestan,
real
yeah.
holy grail.
I think there might come a time when Dagestan would have the same kind of trio that we have now, like with Africa, but yeah, we just can't ignore that it's our time now.
Yeah, and we have.
And funny enough, like
that's true.
In the UFC, that there's no more than 10 UFC African fighters in the UFC.
That's
but
true.
yeah, 3.
And 3 are champions. And the others are not slouches
at all.
Exactly.
Sadiq is a bad man.
Co-main events tonight.
It's co-main.
And they are building him up to be a star.
Definitely.
And even Kennedy Nzechukwu won his last fight in spectacular fashion
versus the CKB boy.
So there could be something. I just feel like maybe it's just the way I view the world.
The rational side of you
is just saying these are special men who
just happen to be African.
Who just happen to be African. That's it.
All right. So the next thing on the list, it's basically open to the table for everyone. He ended it by saying these are special men. So what is actually special about us? Like, why Africa? Like, what is it about Africa that is giving us such a quote-unquote edge?
I think it's a genetics thing, to be honest. Because
let's go there.
Let's do that. I have my own take.
So let's say let's use Ngannou as an example right now, because to him we know his struggle. We heard his story with Joe Rogan in the Joe Rogan show. Of course. So we know like he's been through hell. But if you look at his story, that's like a typical African, literally, and a typical African's life, his whole journey. He worked as a kid, literally went through hell. We see that as just basic life here in Nigeria, literally. So we have had that inbuilt in us, in our DNA, that hard work, that keep driving, keep fighting no matter what, keep fighting for your next meal. That's just within us already as Africans, because we just generational.
You think we've been doing that over since slavery?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Did I go there?
Even before that.
Let's go there. Let's go there.
Even before that.
And there's all these studies about how the bone on your thigh, is that the femur? The femur in a black man is longer than it is in the white man. I think Marcus and I had a discussion about this. That's why we win so many track and field events. That's why we generate.
There's different things. There's that. There's also the length of the Achilles tendon. There's and fast twitch fibers as well. Then there's a whole bunch of stuff that they say. Even high insertion calves, like it's better for sprinting as opposed to low insertion, which like the Asians will have or white people will have. And that's good for swimming. There's a lot of stuff that comes up.
And unfortunately, one of the most tragic things that has ever happened kind of is a grand experiment in this thing. The United States consistently produces the best athletes in the world, particularly in explosive sports. If you look at the NFL, look at the NBA, you look at track and field, and they just happen to have, over a few hundred years, imported a lot of black people from the west coast of Africa,
of course,
and sent them over there. And that's a horrible thing, but it could have something to do with why they have this black population that's just fantastic at sports. So there could be something there.
My own take on it is from a business perspective. Like, so business is solutions, finding solutions, and places where businesses thrive is where there's a lot of problems to find solutions for them. And I just feel like Africa is a very troubled place in a lot of ways. Obviously, we're blessed and also in many, many ways as well, but it's troubled in many ways, and our people are just hardwired to thriving or surviving, and I think that's why there's a success within. So even though if we juxtapose the two things now with the Dagestanis and the Africans, the Dagestanis, when we look at them truly, it seems that they're doing more thorough work and there's more inbuilt training there. But because of the way our own lives are, like where there's just always this will to, it's more than just a fight. It is this will to succeed and to be, and that's why, you know, like in the movie White Men Can't Jump, they say you black guys care more about looking good than winning, because there's always this. If it's not just winning, it's not just being, you know, the thoroughbred. It's like we're always trying to be at the top of it. So that's why there's such a small amount of Africans, but even in that small set, there's such a huge percentage of them that are actually at the very top. That's my take on it. I think more of a solutions like by necessity is what
We
drives
exist
us
to fix a problem that exists. So Chidi came up with genetics. You approaching it from a business standpoint. Well, opportunists
Yes,
basically,
yes,
right?
yes,
And then Skelly, do you have any?
I tend to lean more towards nurture than nature. I just think, and all the things you mentioned, particularly about physiological differences, are valid. But I look at it more as like a sociological thing. I studied sociology. Maybe that's why I think about it that way. But so, for example, the idea, there's a guy named John Gruden who's the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders in the NFL.
Okay.
And I was watching a profile of him, and his son is an MMA fighter. He's training.
Okay.
And I looked at that boy, and immediately, and I hope he proves me wrong, immediately I said, this guy won't make it.
Oh, man.
Oh wow.
Your father is a Super Bowl winning coach. You've grown up in the lap of luxury. I'm sorry, but you're not soft because you're taking a punch. You're going in a cage with someone. But you don't have that edge. You were talking about Dagestan. Those guys live in the mountains. It sharpens them, in terms of mentality, and to an extent, not to an extent. I think that's what you guys have been touching on in terms of the African environment as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of a socialization type of thing. The environment you're brought up in sharpens you and hardens you and turns you into a good fighter. Even if you look at the untapped market that is Africa, I think when we actually start seeing things like events, and we know we're going to talk about that, events in Africa and all that, and the sport gets more social acceptance here, you could have a real gold mine on your hands when it comes to fighters. But I tend to lean more towards the idea that it's more social than genetic.
Okay, can I just add one more thing?
Yeah.
This just literally gone to my head right now. So can you guys imagine this hybrid mix of a Nigerian guy, literally born and raised in Nigeria, then goes to Dagestan to train for 10 years?
That's like the superhero story right there, man.
Khabib Usman.
Khabib Usman. But yeah, man, that's the perfect segue to what we need to talk about right now. He touched on environment, and let's bring that down to our local environment here. Both of you are, and me to an extent, are best placed to kind of touch on our local environment, our local scene here. A lot of things are happening. We're having a lot of interest. The gym right now, we're in Body Rocks Fitness Studio in Abuja, third floor of Silverbird in Central area.
The only place to train.
Well, there are other places.
There are places we're going to touch
and like that's what we're going into now. And like the fighting floor, the fighting mat is routinely 2 times more packed than the actual gym floor, which is what your studio actually started up as just a studio with some fight equipment before. It's gradually beginning to look to me like you have a fight studio with people that want to work out on the side happening.
The main studio is now the extension. That's what it seems like. A lot of the time.
Like. Maybe we have to move that cage.
Yeah, maybe create more space. And then Chidi has been going to ABV. I've been going to ABV too. I've trained with Marcus in Pinnacle. There's Kip Fitz and his little thing that he's trying to do on the side. There's so many kickboxers. There's this guy that did Muay Thai for 10 years. I think his name is Prince Hassan. He came to train with us.
He came from Lagos.
So many little pockets, like the purple belts in Jiu-Jitsu coming to train with us now.
Brown belt
as well. And everybody is legit. And there are so many people trying to learn different skill levels. What do you guys think? Do you think what is happening on the grand scale is affecting us on the micro scale? Or is it just that we've been churning out killers all these years? People have been going out to other continents and representing us well. Is there some correlation? Is there, like, what is happening actually?
I think everything is just happening at the same time. You said I don't think it's one thing particularly affecting the other, but everything's affecting each other. I think it's a complete network. I'm all about the morphic resonance and like the collective mental cloud. So but I'm not even going to go into that. The fact is just that I feel like all these different things are happening and everything affects the other thing. So yes, we can never ever take it away from what's happening with right now with Kamaru and Israel and Sadiq and Kennedy, because they're opening the layman's eyes to this, to what we do, and then it's reminding us here as well, because this is not the first time we've had Nigerians in the UFC.
That's right.
We had
But this-
Holy War Angel.
Holy War Angel,
King
Bola Omole was on the season 9 of Ultimate Fighter. King Mo Lawal was on the UFC, but he was very, very popular on the
popular.
Asian scene.
Jimmy Manua.
Jimmy
Yeah,
Manua
Jimmy Manua.
made it. Was it not number 3 at some point?
Yeah, he
number
was.
3 light heavyweight.
He had beef with not beef, but he
Well,
had words with Daniel Cormier.
With Daniel Cormier. Daniel
Yeah.
Cormier just recently was like telling me, you don't want all of this, Jimmy.
That's right.
You don't want this.
That's right. Called him out.
So to that level, but now so work has been happening. Same thing with Body Rocks over here. We've been doing little things, snippets. We had a boxing ring because people were not so keyed into MMA, so we had a boxing ring first because we're more universally known. But we were doing little bits and pieces here, little bits. Every time like expatriates come in, we're like, oh, there's a place where you guys do some jiu-jitsu. Oh, this is awesome. Let me join in. But now is the time when it's all just like finally coming together. So like the iceberg effect, like all this stuff has been going on underneath the water, but now it's like coming up to the surface. Like, oh, this is happening, and it's everything just getting magnetized towards us. It's not by chance any of these things are happening. It's like, oh, this is once you mention the word, like, oh yeah, I know I see some guys doing this stuff over here. Next thing they come over, so we like you said, we had a blue belt first. Our BJJ coach Andrew, who I think he found me through Instagram, came through him. Somebody else was trying to find somewhere else to do jiu-jitsu. Nafisa, purple belt, reached out to him, so he brought it over here. Next thing we have this guy Wale, he's a brown belt over here. Before you know it, a black belt's gonna show up.
That's right.
If you look at it, literally been a progression of belts.
Yeah.
Next thing, black belt's gonna be in here, and within that space, we had today in today's class, we literally had a girl who doesn't speak any English. She's from Cuba, speaks
Claudia.
proper Spanish, and she just threw herself into the mix of it. Like, she just wanted to be in it. She wants to even compete. Like, and then the fact that all of us could harmonize and still keep learning with somebody who doesn't speak any English.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
You know, the funny thing is I actually didn't even know this.
Wow.
Can you imagine?
And
he
they rolled.
And he rolled with her,
Yeah.
and he didn't even realize that
She just spoke the language.
we're speaking another
Yeah.
language. So this is you will find your people. Though. So something I hate to get biblical, and I'm talking a lot, but like I'll say something quickly. So my pastor said to me one time, he said, "You will always find what it is that you need wherever you go." So if you're into drugs,
You'll find him.
you travel, take it to another country.
Yeah.
You'll find the places where
Yeah.
you get drugs.
Yeah.
I don't do any drugs or
Yeah.
cocaine, so I won't even know
You won't know that
that
there's
it even exists in the
Absolutely.
area.
Yeah.
So that's when you find what. So because there's a language that is spoken that I won't understand, but these guys will understand. And the same thing now. So we're speaking this language of combat. It's in the culture. What is culture? One of the main symbols of culture is language. Combat culture. The language is coming together and it's gravitating everyone. In. So everything is synapses is firing across to everything. So everything is affected.
Okay, so synapses. That is some high level context right
Sorry,
there.
I just
So no, it's good. It's good. So we're going to bring it down. So Chidi, tell us about ABV and what you've experienced locally. Now, he's talked about everything globally now. Tell us about what you're seeing in Abuja now.
First of all, like let me just briefly touch on what he said as well, because literally from what he said is the same way I found Body Rocks as well.
Yeah.
Literally, I came back to Nigeria. I needed somewhere to train. I searched randomly. I found Body Rocks, and Maya was the first person I reached out to. He was like, "I should show up. Let's come over." I came over. I loved what I saw. I saw there was a bag there, so I just came, started training. And from here, literally, we started talking, and that's how this whole thing just started forming, like just randomly. So things just literally just a chain reaction from one thing to another, and this is how things just blew up this way. But moving on to ABV, right? First of all, ABV is an amazing place. Ever since I started like going there, it's been awesome. I've been so. Funny enough, the same chain reaction was the same way because the owner of ABV, Shegs. By the way, shout out to Shegs because 2 days ago he won like
in Edo State,
the national kickboxing
No
competition.
way.
Kicked the guy out the ring, man.
Yeah, literally.
literally out the ring.
Can somebody send me that footage?
Yeah, I got it. I'll
love
send
to
it
see
to you. So shout out to him. Congrats to him as well, and AKO show as well. He did amazing. So yeah,
African knockout.
African knockout, by the way. Yeah, that's what it means. So he reached out to me, literally. He saw my videos. He saw what I was doing. Was like, oh, I like this guy. yo, he reached out to me and he sent me a text on my DM. So I'm like, yo, I should come over. Let's train. I was like, okay. Yeah, I found it a bit weird. Because he's a coach, I'm a coach.
Yeah.
Usually people have this weird notion thing that, oh, this guy's calling you out. But I was like, no. I mean, let me just go. Let's see. So we went there, we sparred, and instantly we fell in love with each other. We fell in love with each other. He was like, yo, I love your style.
I love you when you punch me in the face.
I was the same thing. I love your style. Let's spar more. So that's how literally anytime we go, we just spar literally. And the thing is, we're so similar in so many ways, but different. Our martial art style is completely different. I'm more of a grappler. Once I lay my hands on you, like I own you pretty much. Yeah. So his striking is amazing. It's like phenomenal.
He's less of an ape.
So literally, he pretty much exposed some holes in my game in striking wise, and again I exposed some holes in his game grappling wise. So we literally kept learning from each other, and that was for ABV. Moving on to other gyms as well, we have like Pinnacle Fitness as well. So and so many others all across Abuja. So one thing I really love is we all kind of know each other and we all sometimes meet each other and there's a mutual respect.
Absolutely.
Even though we're all coaches, like we all come together, we're all coaches. There's normally anywhere else, there's this ego
like,
thing
yes,
going,
like,
no, why should I learn from you? I can probably kick your ass, some shit like that. Oh, sorry.
Can I even?
It's okay.
Can I even jump on that?
Yeah, sure.
Like, so because what you're saying there about this is literally mutual respect all through. And the fact that because it just is, Chidi is completely right, because most of the time it doesn't work that way. And people even ask me one time like, "Oh, I keep seeing your guys over ABV." I said, "Yeah, because you don't have a problem with that."
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And do you think it's a coincidence that there just happens to be a primarily boxing based space, primarily kickboxing based space, then an MMA space? You didn't say we're all taking our own zones.
Yeah.
We all have our own zones. We truly have it's not a threat to me.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
no threat to me at all.
Yeah.
We have our zones and then we come together and
it's a community.
Yeah.
completely.
It is.
And like I said, it's literally just a culture.
Yeah, all just fell into his own place.
Yeah.
And this way, plus because there's mutual respect between each other, that's how we literally grow the culture. Literally.
Exactly.
We speak one language.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think about just to round this topic up, what do you guys think about the overall skill level and progression of the people that you've trained, the people who are taking it seriously, casuals? What do you think about the skill? Is there hope that we can export talent at some point? What do you think?
See, I literally watch the videos of our sessions with the stupidest grin on my face. Like, stupidest grin. I'm so, like, blown away all the time. Like, these guys are getting so good. Like, I watch you. I'm talking about when I say you, I mean Oche. I watch Hugo. And so that's people who are even trying to take it a bit seriously. You know, who are planning to compete or already competed. I see that I'm blown away. Then I see the casuals, people who are just doing it because, you know what, I just want to try my hand at something. And they also becoming incredible. And the fact that they have the courage to say, they get a new face coming, he's clearly much more experienced than they are. And they're
Step
like,
in the ring.
let's spar. And they don't shy away from it.
Yeah.
I shied away from that stuff.
That is beautiful.
that's-
actually.
That wasn't my story. So I'm like, to see them be so evolved so quickly.
Not just physically, but also in mindset.
Literally,
Yeah.
like I'll roll with these guys, and these guys will give me troubles, and I already see when I was like, if I spar with these guys, like I can tell the kind of issues that they will give me, like, and they're just so green. They just started.
Yeah.
You don't understand, like.
Literally diving into deep water straight away.
It's incredible, man. I mean, it's like literally being a farmer. You just throw some seed, and
then
then you
coming
literally
back.
don't feel like you did that much, and you came back and be
Say
like,
farmer.
because I don't feel like I did that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we've done that much. It's not like as if we took them to some mountain. we didn't do the Dagestani way, and to see how much it's incredible, man.
One thing I really love about martial arts, right, is even though you're training, but you don't know, you don't realize it at the time, but physically and mentally it changes you. Like your mindset kind of just changes and warps towards whoever coach you probably had teach you in the very beginning. Like you guys' principles and mindset kind of like aligns in a way.
Yep.
Because I've seen most people come in as hotheads and then in the
Yeah.
end they leave as really peaceful, calm guys.
Yeah. It's an
Like
outlet.
literally, fights is always their last option,
Yep,
and they
yep.
know when they're in that, they know how to finish it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's one beauty about
That
it.
is
Beautiful, man, guys. All right, we're trying to keep to time. I wish we could talk about that for like another 30 minutes. But
Sure, we
yeah.
could if we wanted to.
Sure, we will.
Yeah, so real quick, right? UFC Africa is going to go around the table. UFC Africa, how possible is it? Locations, timing. What do you think? Just give your opinions around the table. Maya, we'll start with you.
I think. No, not naturally, I would have said 2023, but because these things don't last too long, the fire is on now. I know they were trying to make it happen sooner rather than later, and that's also the reason why what I think affects the possible location. If it was 2023, I think it would have given Nigeria a better chance to be better prepared for the UFC to come here. But because the UFC trying to, why do you think Sadiq's is co-main event?
Another Nigerian
Another.
talent to push.
What?
Yeah.
Well, it's not. There's other people with higher profiles than he does.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I think realistically, logistically, if they were going to do UFC Africa, it would be in South Africa.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Chidi.
I agree with Mayu with that one. Like South Africa
Yeah.
is definitely the choice,
They're
best
more prepared.
choice.
Yeah.
Think about it, like the whole Africa, even the whole MMA community. Where is it more thriving? South Africa.
Yeah.
Well, do you think the fact that we have 3 champions from West Africa, 4 champions from West Africa,
Can drive the narrative to make them.
I don't think so.
Because they were still thinking about the money.
Yes.
Business
And
that
let's-
drives the narrative, not the fighters.
Another factor to consider is DSTV. They have, it's a South African company.
Absolutely.
They have the rights
yeah,
for
That's
not
it.
just the UFC but EFC as well.
Yeah.
They all view it as an opportunity to grow the EFC brand if the UFC comes.
Do you know the funny thing?
Because
They
the UFC
still have the
run-
rights to all, even the Nigerian.
Even the Nigerian, yeah, exactly.
AKO and the
Yeah.
TFC.
So
TFC,
yeah,
okay.
multi-choice will have a say in where it goes. It's
Another
gonna be
thing,
South
right,
Africa.
Maybe I think the money side of things is something Skelly generally has an understanding of. You know, right? Pay-per-view sales for big main cards. Usually, what drives where it's who fights on what card and where it's held is based on how much money they can make at the gate and how much money they can make from pay-per-view sales. The model that DSTV uses doesn't, because we don't have pay-per-view
Pay-per-view,
fights
yeah.
here. They just distribute for free.
Yeah.
How do you think that affects a potential main event happening in Africa? How do you think they would go about distributing it or marketing it?
I think what they would do is it wouldn't be the first time that a pay-per-view, that an event is being. It really doesn't matter where the event is held. If they have there are certain factors that threaten pay-per-view sales. The US is still the main market. It's the reason why when they go to Abu Dhabi, they fight at really weird times. It's to satisfy the US market so the American viewers can watch. They likely do the same thing here, even though it's not too much of a time difference. And it's never been an issue. They've never sold pay-per-view in Africa. So the pay-per-view question is not a factor in Africa. What they will do, though, is I wouldn't be surprised if they did it in a full-on stadium. If they did it in, like, whatever the big stadium in Johannesburg is.
They have to be.
They have to be. And they'd sell every single ticket.
Definitely.
No doubt about it. We would probably fly down there
We would.
to watch that.
We would.
So they would make a killing in the stadium, and then the marketing appeal of the first UFC event in Africa, I think translates worldwide. Americans will watch it, Europeans will watch it, everybody will get behind that.
And that's how they
then
make the pay-per-view. So
and then another thing too is the fighters, like every single Sadiq will be on that card. Israel will be on that card. Of
course.
Kamaru will be on that card. Dricus Duplessis will be on that card. Like everybody, they will even find an opponent for Abdulrazak Al Hassan. So it'll be a monster card. Dana is good at these things, of concocting these cards for the right event. So I don't see any financial hit coming from it. I think it would. The money would be guaranteed.
All right. Beautiful, guys. Tonight the UFC is having their Marvin Vittori, Marvin Vittori versus Kevin Holland. That's happening tonight. We have Sadiq Yusuf. Can someone remind me what his opponent's name is, please?
Oh.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I was watching the entire interview of him yesterday.
Yeah, last night when we were at the bar.
Anyway, so that's happening tonight. Next weekend, we'll likely touch on the outcome of that. Next weekend, we have Australian Bobby Knuckles versus
Robert
Whittaker is happening next weekend. So yeah, there's quite a few interesting fights.
Cards are coming up good.
Two versus Gastelum. Kevin Gastelum.
Bobby Knuckles.
Bobby Knuckles versus Kevin Gastelum, man. But yeah, on that note, guys, we've hit our time limit for today. Please follow us on Instagram. It's Combat Culture Africa. Follow us on Twitter. It's Combat Culture AF. Send us an email. It's combatcultureafrica@gmail.com. Let us know what you think about the show. This is going to go up on YouTube tonight, and we'll have it on our podcasting up on all major podcast platforms tonight.
And also on Instagram as well.
Yeah, on Instagram as well. And then if no one has anything extra to say, on 3, 2, 1, peace. 3, 2, 1, peace.